Lord, I'm thankful for where you brought me from. Higher.
To be honest, I came through from MPDC, so it was an internship. And
What's MPDC?
Madison Park Development. It's like a youth center.
It's a Madison Park is actually is a development corporation, and they do housing and they do youth and they do a lot of work in our community, and they own a lot of property, and but they have a wonderful youth program that is ran by. Good morning, good morning. This is People Power with Priscilla. We are the people and we have the power. And I am thankful and grateful to be here this morning on the air with my listeners and my engineer, Sister Renee Wise. And so, unfortunately, my guest had a little mishap, so he won't be here. However, I'm here and Renee's here, and so what I want to talk about today is last night we had a powerful prayer here at Global Ministries, and this came about because the city of Boston said that we couldn't pray in City Hall anymore, so we decided to go to different churches and pray once a month for our community. And so last night we prayed for our schools, our school departments, all the people that work for the schools, the administration. People, prayer changes things. I'm a living witness, and I know there are a lot more who know that prayer does change things. We have a prayer group every morning, 6 a.m., and we pray. We pray for each other. We pray for the city, the state, our country. We pray for our family. We pray for our friends. We pray for our friends' friends. And it's a blessing to be alive at this time, because I feel like there's a change is really gonna come. That song, we know change happens every day, but that song, a change is gonna come. There are really gonna be some different things going on in our city and in our country. We have an election, November 5th. Now let's talk about that for a minute. People, you all know that if Donald Trump gets reelected, it's going to be worse than it was when he was elected before. I don't understand, why he is allowed to run for president again. But he's there. He's there. And so we have to do our due diligence. We have to call all our family members, all our friends, everybody we know, and tell them to get out and vote. Because if you stay home, that's a vote for Trump. So come on, people. Let's take it for what it is. We got issues. We know we got issues. We got issues in this city that just really boils my blood. I don't understand some of our elected officials. And last week, I don't know if it was last week, the week before last, when we went down to the courthouse about Blue Hub. I just think that it's sad that we live in a state where people who are doing illegal stuff can lobby and go down to the State House and get people to make what they're wrong doing right. What kind of sense does that make? You're going to allow people to be predatory lenders. You're gonna make it a law. That in itself is criminal. So then there's the white stadium issue. We know that's a go. I don't understand Amir. I really don't. But I wish you know what? I'm gonna reach out and see if I can get Michelle Wu on the show, because I have a lot of questions to ask her, and so I'm gonna call her people and see if I can get her on the show. That would be a good thing. There are some other people that I would like to get on the show, but I have a very nice lineup for my October shows. So on October 3rd, I will be having Sean Ellison and Stephen Pina. They are both two young black men that were falsely accused and incarcerated. Sean Ellis, I believe, was there for 22 years. He was accused of killing a cop at Walgreens. Stephen Pina, I don't know what he did, but he was, I believe, in there 32 years wrongly convicted. Then on the 10th, I will be having Mac Hudson and Joey Bennett. These they also were convicted falsely and spent time in prison. On the 17th, I will be having Josh Kraft on my show. And on the 24th, I will be having Dominga Martin. So it's going to be very lively shows coming up. So I hope you will be listening. So what say you, Boston? What say you? What are we gonna? So we're working on we have a pack. We're working on creating the United Communities Pack, and we've been having meetings every Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. Hopefully we can go to in person one day, but now that they say COVID's back, we probably best stay on Zoom for another little while. So I just want to do a shout out to Counselor Julia Mejia for working with me and keeping this prayer ministry going. Once a month we go. We'll be going to different churches. So last night was Global Ministries. In October, we will be going to Way of the Cross with Bishop Frank Kelly. And so we don't know who we have in November and December yet, but we'll be working on it. So people, we have an election coming up. So do we have any ideas on how we can get people to the polls? Any kind of creative ideas? I know transportation is an issue with people getting to the polls. However, and so I thought that maybe, some of these pastors and some of these churches that have vans and don't and only use them on Sunday and during the week in Bible study, maybe they could loan their vans that day to the community to get people to the polls. I would like to for that to happen. I know there's churches, I believe Jubilee, they have vans. I believe Morning Star has vans. Let me think what other churches have vans right now. Those are the only two I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's others. I don't know if Pastor Culpepper has vans. 12 Baptist, I believe, has vans. So it would be nice if For real, and this is serious. I believe New Hope has vans, Concord Baptist have vans. It would be nice if these pastors could, collaborate some kind of way. Maybe we can get some funding or something. For them to loan out their vans that day. Have their deacons or trustee, you know, take people to the polls. That I don't see why that could be an issue. And so, because that's one of the reasons why we don't go to the polls, because we can't get there. But the other reason that we don't go is because we don't believe in the system. But we are the system. We're the ones that have to make the system. We have to create the system and change the system. That's what it's about, changing the system. But we can only do that if we're voting. We must have a seat at the table. What did Shirley Chisholm say? If they don't give you a seat, bring your own. And that's the truth. If they don't give us a seat, we gotta bring our own. Yesterday I was at a wonderful event in the community. The Nubian Square Task Force, which I happen to be a member of, a proud member of, had a Hope for Recovery event where they had resources from all around the city. They had people from the Department of Public Health. They had people from Torchlight Recovery there. They had oh my goodness, Mass General was there. They had all types of different businesses and nonprofits and things around recovery. They had I can't remember everybody that was there. However, it was a very nice event. There was a lot of people. They gave out a lot of things. You know how they do it, resources. They give you, things, good things, pens and information, and you can make appointments. The Roxbury Nubian Square Task Force is ran by Katrina Cooley, and she's doing a good job. With the task force, and so it's interesting, and it's good to see what is going on. I also want to remind people about the Torchlight Recovery, which is in Grove Hall, right next to number Moss 11. I'm just so appreciative of them brothers, how they got that cafe up. I mean, it's a blessing. It's gonna bless a lot of people in our community, and so I'm thankful for that. And so I need someone to call in and give me some news, or let's talk about something. Let's talk about different things that are going on in our community. There was a hearing last week on deed restriction, and so we have hearings, but I don't really see a lot of the results from the hearings. I mean, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, people. This is People Power with Priscilla. It's okay. It's all right. So, I have my young intern, Mr. Michael Devon. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, God.
How are you?
Hello?
Oh my goodness. Hello. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Priscilla. How are you?
I'm good. Who is this?
This is Jean.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, Jeannie. Hi. Good morning.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm trying to hear you. It's really, really low.
Really?
The
I
volume is
know.
really
I
low.
know. My voice is. I'm kind of down because my guest didn't make it, but you called and I'm happy. So how are you?
I'm well, man. I'm blessed. I was a little bit disappointed that I missed the the event last night with the prayer group, but I ended up going to having to work for my job, which is MPDC, and we had a movie screening on ranked choice voting that I didn't know a lot about. You know,
Really?
and it was great to see the amazing people come out
Mm-hmm.
to learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them didn't look like us.
Really?
So I just want to talk about, like, why don't we come out to learn about, the choices that we have with voting. So most of the folks that were there were great. They were phenomenal. They were great, but like I said, they didn't look like us.
Wow.
So what are your thoughts on ranked choice voting?
So if I was, I was for it, but I really don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't understand how it works. I understand a little bit, but not enough to, like, I couldn't tell nobody. So I would like to have been at that movie as well. But of course, I was here at the church with the prayer, and it was phenomenal. I'm telling you. But I'll figure. You said Ed Shoemaker is the one that had it.
Ed Shoemaker.
Yeah,
you
because
should
maybe.
have him on the show one day. So he can break it down to you. Like,
I've had him. I have had him on the show, but I can bring him back, especially since it was so close to election day. I will, and maybe we could do a screening. Maybe we could do one here at the church or somewhere else. Maybe we can do one at Manley or somewhere. I think I have another caller. Hold on, Jeannie. Good morning, caller.
Okay.
You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I thought that I'd give you a call.
Yes.
Because I'm still trying to figure out who I should vote for. I haven't really made up my mind yet. And what I keep hearing is don't vote for Trump. But I haven't gotten a reason to vote for Kamala yet. I don't know if you are a Kamala fan or a supporter or not, but if you are, could you give me some reasons to vote for her other than she's not Donald Trump?
Well, Dan, I don't know why you calling me asking me this question, but however, I will say we need a change in this country, okay? We need someone different, okay? For the, Donald Trump is, to me, a evil man. I'm sorry, as far as I can see. Okay, the things that he talks about, the way he talks about people, I don't see any reason why we should have to go through 4 more years with this man as our president. Why not give Kamala a chance? She's been a DA, she's been a senator, she's been a vice president. Okay, so she's not just like some new kid on the block. All right, she does have experience. She does know what she's talking about. And so for those reasons, that's why I'm voting for her. Yeah, I'm voting for her. So,
Okay, so
that's my reason.
Okay, just she has some experience, and she's not Trump. Does that sum it up?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's just because to me, I'm not necessarily sure that. I mean, the experience she's had. Yes, she's been the vice president for the past 3-point-something years, and she was put in charge of the border. And I'm not necessarily sure you could call that a win. As a matter of fact, when it first came out that she was in charge of the border, either her or her campaign tried to distance themselves from the fact that she was in charge of the border because everybody sees the border as a disaster. But be that as it may, I don't know what she's been second in command for 3 years or 3 point something years. And the one thing she was in charge of, it seems that she made a mess of.
Okay. So that's one thing. So,
Okay. Hello?
yes, yes. Okay, all right. Yeah, so but then I mean, I know you've been a Trump fan, you know, so and that's your position. So
Well, I'm not necessarily a Trump fan. That's an inaccuracy.
okay.
Um,
You like him.
there's not much about that person to be fanatic about. His character, his comments, his tweets, the fact that he acts like a petulant child sometimes. Those are not anything that I can support because they're immature. At best, they're immature. At worst, they're destructive.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, who's better? I mean, we've had, for the last 4 years, my dollar doesn't go anywhere near as far as it did when he was in office. Just basically on gas, and I think everybody understands that because. So, no, I am not a fan of Trump.
Oh,
I just
hold on.
want
Hold on.
somebody better.
Hold on. We only got two choices, so hold on. Good morning, Carly. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Minister Priscilla
Good morning,
and Pastor Dan.
Kay.
I just wanted to add my 2 cents to this conversation.
Please.
I don't know whether this is what you meant to say a moment ago, Minister Priscilla, or actually Pastor Dan. You said, so your reasoning is that she's got some experience and she's not Trump, and you said yes. And if that's what you mean, then I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got massive experience in terms of the government in comparison to Trump. And as you said, we only have two choices. If we had more, it might be a different conversation. So when people say some, I don't know whether that's what you were trying to do, Pastor Dan, but sometimes they'll say some to minimize somebody's experience. And she's got a lot of experience, one. And when you say she's not Trump, and Minister Priscilla, you said yes. So what does Trump symbolize? Is I think that, to be added to the description. Not Trump, the human, the person, but not Trump meaning his policies, what he's done, the vile, nasty, degrading, racist things that come out of his mouth. Yes, not that person. Like the fact that he's an old white man, couldn't care less. The fact that he's an alleged billionaire and he's a successful businessman, which statistics prove he's not. He's gone bankrupt how many times? And
6.
yes, I know he uses bankruptcy as a mechanism. And if some people are proud of doing business like that, that's great. But for the people who have invested and believed in him as a business person, a la Trump University, a la Trump Airline, to me, that's not a person of integrity. And if you can't be a person of integrity in running your businesses, then I certainly don't believe you have the ability to be a person of integrity in terms of running this country. He is, everything is not relational with him. Everything is, it's transactional with him. And that's what he's proven to us. And the first time we made the mistake of allowing him to be president. Those are just my few thoughts. I'll listen off the air.
Well, before you go, please, Kamala, Vice President Kamala was in charge of the border. Initially, when she was placed in that position, we were expecting some things to happen, just as a country. And as we know, the border the border, by all intents and purposes, is a disaster right now. So much so that initially, when her campaign came out, there was an attempt to distance herself from the border. And she pretty much had, I'm being metaphorical, had to be drugged kicking and screaming to the fact that, yes, she was in charge of it. And now, but we see that the border is a disaster. So in her term of office, never mind what Donald did during his time, in her term of office, the one thing that she was in charge of has turned out to be a total disaster. Hello?
Oh shit. Okay. Pastor K is gone. So, but
Oh,
do
she's
you
gone,
keep
okay.
but is that all you can say though? Dan, compared to all the other things that she's done?
Well,
I mean,
again,
that's just
this-
one thing.
But
You
this-
keep
okay, so
hopping
here's
on
the
that.
issue. Here's the issue, and this is one of the reasons why there are times when I'm not necessarily liked as a person, because I have the ability, based on who I am and what I do, I have the ability to put things in no emotion category, like does it work or does it not work. Now, granted, when I became a pastor, I had to learn how to separate these type of things, because people are not switches. People are not mechanical things. They have emotions, and they have reasons that don't make any sense to anybody but them sometimes, if not even them. So working and not working doesn't always work, but it is a guideline to whether we should put somebody in a position to do something. You are a minister, and I don't really know much about your calling or much about, how you got to where you are. My life, of course, is an open book. Everybody knows how I got where I am.
Well, mine is too. It's called "I Look Back and Wonder How I Got Over."
Okay, and I confess I haven't read it, so I probably should read it, because that'll answer a bunch of questions. The idea of when it comes to what actually works, and in the church, that if you have somebody in the church that is not accomplishing their job, then things. If you put an usher in the position of ushering, and he or she are just nasty people. Their breath is bad, their attitudes are bad, they play favorites and stuff like that. You are not going to have that person in that position very long once you've demonstrated, or once it's been proven that they're not just ineffective in that position, but they're detrimental. But even that is based on, what they did and what they can do. And all I'm suggesting is, do we have any examples of anything that Kamala has done over the past 3-point-something years that would give us confidence that when she's in charge, she's going to do something proper. She's going to do something right. That's and it's not based on emotion. It's not based on whether I'm a fan of Trump. As I stated, I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm tired of us having to always pick from the lesser of two evils. That's the real issue here, is that we always have to pick between the lesser of two evils, and I'm tired of that. Americans deserve a better position than that. But like you said, we only have two choices.
Maybe that's where ranked choice voting may come in at.
Pardon?
I said maybe that's a case for ranked choice voting, which we're trying to get in Boston. That way you have more. That way you'd have more than two choices.
Well, the problem with ranked choice voting, and I think this will be evident to you when you learn about it, is that it has the potential to ignore the majority vote.
No,
based on how it's set up and how the algorithms work. But I'll let you discover that when you get the explanation on it yourself. I've done some looking into it, and for me, it's just a way for the ultimately the people's choice to lose through a formula. So I'm not a fan of ranked choice voting, which probably makes half the world now for it. But when you look into it, I think I believe that you'll come to the same conclusion I have, which is a system of voting where the majority of votes wins has been the cornerstone of our country, and now they're trying to play with it because they didn't like the results or because it's a formula or whatever. Places that have had ranked choice voting have found out that no, it is really not the way to go, because it ultimately has the potential to negate the popular choice. And we've learned that when we vote, when we try to make votes and pass laws based on our own particular prejudices and our own particular desires, those same choices, much like in life, can come back and bite us in the rear end. The only reason that former President Donald Trump was able to get 3 Supreme Court justices in is that the Democrats changed the ruling concerning filibusters and concerning majority vote. I think it was not filibuster, but concerning the majority vote. That in the past you would have had to have 60 votes in the Congress to appoint a judge, but the Democrats changed it to majority so that Trump was able to get 3 justices in with 51 votes. That would have never happened if the Democrats hadn't changed it, trying to limit his power. So we have to be very careful when we do stuff out of emotion. And this is why I'm saying, when it comes to Kamala Harris becoming the first female president, I'm not going to say first black president, because that's clearly not true, but the first female president, I would love for a woman to be president. But I want that woman to be qualified. I want that woman to be above reproach. I want that woman to be worthy of the office.
So you just said you want her to be qualified. Who are you to say whether she's qualified or not? And
I'm a voter.
Okay, that's your personal opinion. Also,
I only have one vote. Also,
you said the border is a disaster because of Vice President Harris. I don't know if that's totally all on her shoulders, but I'm not going to debate that with you. However, Trump, as our former president, destroyed the country. And there's nothing that you can say that would make me think different. 4 years in office, and the things that he has done, the things that he has said, which you have said absolutely nothing about, what happened to that? All the negative things that he has done.
What I said exactly was, I'm not a fan of Trump.
Okay, but again, you didn't point out the things that he has done wrong, though. You point out. No, you did not. You didn't go into detail about that.
What I said was his tweeting, his petulant attitudes, his acting like a spoiled brat, the fact that he, those type of things, I did most certainly say that. The fact that he shoots from the lip, which means that he says stuff, I most certainly said that. These are not character traits that I think a person in that office should have.
And what about the other things that he has done that are not, that for a president supposedly running our country, he should have never done or even uttered out of his mouth?
Well, again, the issue when it comes to presidency, if you look at the history, the entire history of our presidency, we have not had the greatest people, the greatest men in that office. Woodrow Wilson.
That's why it's time for a woman.
Well, and this part I agree with. I have no problem with a woman being president. I just want her. It's just like I had no problem with the quote unquote first black president. But what I was given was Barack Obama, who at best would be black light.
Okay.
So when it comes to a woman,
Dan,
yes.
Wait,
yes.
One second. I just want to make a comment, and then you can continue. On behalf of Boston Praise Radio and TV, Global Ministries Christian Church, I want everyone to hear, we are not telling people who to vote for. we are encouraging people to go out and vote. Your personal choice of who you choose to vote for is your choice. We are not by any means telling you who you should vote for, but every vote counts. Now you can
And
continue.
I completely agree. I have not missed an election. Well, ever since I was able to vote for president, I have never missed a presidential election. And I have voted for and against Barack Obama. I have voted for some people who I didn't agree with, and I voted against some people.
Hold on, we got another caller there. Hold on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning there, Minister.
Good morning, Siddiqui. How you doing? Siddiqui, I know
look here,
you. I know your voice.
Oh, okay. I'm just so tired of hearing about Trump, or who I refer to as Caramel Harris. You know, we spend too much time with that. But we need to emphasize what are we going. We know Trump doesn't like black people, and that Caramel is uncomfortable in her black skin, and she's not going to do anything for us to. We got to do something for ourselves, and that relates to why I'm really calling very quickly around the issue of Roxbury Community College and the Reggie Lewis Center, because there's a very important session that's going to happen this evening at 5:30 at Roxbury Community College, building number 3. It's a meet and greet with the new president there. He's been there since July 1st, Dr. Jonathan Jefferson. And we've got turmoil at the Reggie Lewis Center there with the lack of leadership with the new person who's there, Mr. Michael Turner. The folks who have been there for years and really the ones who stabilized that institution were escorted out of the Reggie Lewis by the school security based on the instructions of Mr. Turner and the folks who have been advising him. So what I'm saying to folks, come out tonight, 5:30, Roxbury Community College, building number 3, the Commons there, for the meet and greet, because the doctor knows about the situation. He doesn't know what to do. The Reggie is in turmoil. Folks are disenchanted. Nobody's talking about all the good work that Jackie Jenkins Scott has done, because everybody who approaches me says, "What's going on with the Reggie?" So,
what is going on with the Reggie?
Total chaos over there.
When you say total chaos, Siddiqui, what do you mean, though?
Well, what I'm saying is that the alleged leader, it's a matter of personalities. Folks have been there. He's been there for 10 months now, Michael Turner. And I'll be very candid. I'm not saying anything behind their backs. Charlie Titus, Keith McDermott, Steve Tompkins, they're the circle around him. So they're classifying it as retrenchment. It's not retrenchment. It's personal in terms of what's going on. You've got someone like a Sherman Hart, who's a national icon, been there for years. He's one of the 4. It was Camilla Rowe, who was the assistant over there. The brother Jackson, who's been there since it was open. They were marched out by security. And so now if you go over there, there's a whole atmosphere of, you just don't feel it anymore the way you did over there. And there's a lot of turmoil. So we're calling for folks to come out tonight for the quote-unquote meet and greet with Dr. Jefferson to express the dismay that the community has in terms of what's going on over there.
But Siddiqui, why were they marched out? I didn't even hear nothing about this.
Oh, it's all personal. It's all what it is that they're classifying it as retrenchment. But unfortunately, what it is that Jackie Jenkins Scott, who was done as interim, did a great job. And so what it is, they claim that the folks, the circle I talked about with Michael Turner, that they were going to take the center in a new direction. And it's not about new direction. It's about personality. That's what's going on right now over there. It's horrendous. It is really horrendous.
Well, thank you for calling us and letting us
All right,
know.
we urge folks to come out tonight.
All right.
All right,
thank
ma'am.
you. Bye-bye. Are you still there, Dan?
Oh, yeah. And Roxbury Community College is I've had some dealings with them. They've been neutral at best, not bad, not worse. I don't really know what the issues are, and I wish that Brother Siddiqui had answered your question with what's going on, with details and with specifics. Again, we spend way too much time in emotion when it comes to this stuff. We really and truly do. It's not that emotion is not important. It's just that emotions are just that, emotions. They come and they go. We've all seen kids fight 1 second and play together the next. It's emotion. I don't know what's going on at Roxbury Community College, and after that phone call, I still don't know what's going on at Roxbury Community College. I have to come down to this meeting to hear what's going on, and I know I'm not going to hear both sides of it. I know I'm only going to hear the side of the people who've put it on, and to me, that's not how you solve a problem. You get everybody in charge, you get everybody who's concerned into the room and listen to what has to be said and make a decision. And that's not, and I pretty much can guarantee that's not what's going to happen tonight. You're going to hear, if you're lucky, you're going to hear what the issue is from their point of view, but then it's incumbent upon you to figure out what the issue is from the other, what the other side is saying. These type of things, the reason our system works is because it's adversarial, and that means that one side says they're right, the other side says they're wrong, and then you have to prove it out. What's bothering me about what's going on now is all I'm hearing from everybody, and I completely agree that voting is the key. All I'm hearing is don't vote for A because A is bad, vote for B because it's not A. And when I mentioned the one thing that she was put in charge of and it failed miserably, I was told that that's just one thing. Well, it's one thing that you could have knocked out of the park, but you didn't. I don't know how many times. I know there are places today that won't ever have me back as a sound engineer because the one time I did some work there, I blew it. And am I that same person I was back then? No, of course not. I've got better equipment. I've got more skill, more history, more seasoning, more whatever. I may even just learn. I lost the job because I opened my mouth. I did. I had a decent job, and I opened my mouth, and I was out of there. I was out of there that day, and I didn't come back. Now, the funny thing is I was hired back a year later. But
Hold on.
you learn stuff after you live and you learn.
Hold on, I think we have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning. It's me again.
Okay.
I just want to. I want to say this, that I think there's a difference between being ruled by your emotions, which do come and go, and being emotional, passionate about something. I'm very passionate about the condition of our country. I am very passionate about this race election, and I would love it if I could understand how a black person can vote for Donald Trump. I'm not asking that question right now, but when I say I would love to understand it, I'm not being facetious. I'm not being cheeky. I really would love to understand it because try as I might, I don't understand it. Dan, I don't know whether you're doing it on purpose, but her name is Kamala. And
Kamala, okay.
Kamala.
Well, I mean no disrespect. I say Trump, and it was his proper title was former President Donald Trump, and it's current Vice President Kamala. I don't play those particular type of games. I think they're silly. When other people do it, I think it's stupid. So no, that's just not me.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I
I understand.
Yeah.
When So the answer to the question is, for me, it's always been
No. I didn't. No. I wasn't saying I wanted an answer to that right now. I mean, I would love to, but that's not why I'm calling.
No, but let me give you let me say this because I think it'll help.
Comment. If I can just finish my comment and then.
Yes, of course.
So what? And I'm disappointed in. I respect Sadiki highly, but I'm disappointed when we call our own people caramel and refer to her as not being black and refer to Barack Obama as not being black. So if we're mad about that, then we need to do something about the one drop rule, because that's where that all started. That if you had one drop of black blood, you were black, and that's kind of what we've lived off of. So if people have a problem with how she identifies herself and how he identifies, how past President Obama identified himself, let's deal with the origin of that construct in the first place. Now, he called himself black. He's black. He looks black.
Okay.
His sensibilities are black. He's married to a black woman. He identified, who was it, Trayvon Martin, when he was killed. He referred to him as, that could have been my son. Those are the words of a black man, a black father.
Okay.
Kamala Harris has lived her life as a black woman. Does that mean she denies that her mother was Indian? Of course not. Of course not. But I'm tired of people taking away, trying to detract from her blackness because she came from a mixed-race family. And, again, pointing to what she did with regard to the border or what she didn't do, when we won't take on the larger issues of what that man did to this country. And with regard to Donald Trump getting three justices onto the Supreme Court, well, yeah, because what was his name? I can't think of his name right now. He's about to retire. The one that said when President Obama became president that his sole mission was to make sure Obama passed nothing. And 9 months before Obama's election, before President Obama's term was over, he blocked him even bringing Merrick Garland forward as a candidate. So that's how Donald Trump got three people in there. Because Mitch McConnell, that's who it was. Mitch McConnell.
Okay, and I'm not, and I think
putting forth a Supreme Court justice.
Pardon?
I'll stop talking now.
I didn't hear what you said.
Right, because you were trying to overtalk me. I said President Obama was not allowed to put forth a Supreme Court justice by Mitch McConnell, who said out loud. And that's one thing I do appreciate about them now. They're saying the quiet part out loud now. So there's no, in front of microphones, so that there's no question about what their motives and intentions are. He said he would never let that happen, and he was successful in doing that, which paved the way for Trump to put three people on the Supreme Court. And you didn't hear me.
It was the rule change that paved the way for Trump to put three people on the Supreme Court.
Obama from putting one on there during his term.
By changing the rule. I'm not arguing I'm not arguing with what you say. I'm pointing out how it happened. It was a rule change that allowed this to happen, and the rule change was done out of spite. You are absolutely right. Mitch McConnell did this. It was done out of spite against Barack Obama. What they did not understand, or what they didn't see, was that action taken out of spite against one person turned around and bit them in the end.
And what was the action, and who was the spite against? I'm not understanding that.
When you said Mitch McConnell blocked Obama,
right?
He did it. He was able to do that because they changed the rules.
Who did?
Okay. What I would do is I'll put all this together.
Who changed the rule?
Well, I believe Mitch McConnell got the rules changed.
Oh.
It used to be that you had to have 60 votes to get something like that happening. But the rule was changed to a majority vote, meaning 51 votes was all that was necessary.
And I'm asking
now, I think you're absolutely right that it was done against Obama. You're absolutely right about that, I believe.
Correct.
But that turned around and bit them when President Trump was in office.
And I'm asking who changed the rule. That's all.
Yeah, I know. I said I have to look it up. I don't know. I'll get more information.
Hold on. I think we have another caller. Hold on.
Bye-bye.
Hold on. Thank you,
listen.
Pastor K. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, caller.
Yes, Sadiki calling. I want to make a correction here. The inference was that I was calling Miss Harris caramel because of her skin color. That's insulting, if anybody who knows me. The bottom line is I'm making reference to the point that, number one, she said she's against reparations. She said she would never do anything for black people. And when she was Attorney General, she had black parents going to jail because of the fact that their child was playing hooky. So she has a reputation of being